In the quiet suburbs of Church Street stood a grandiose mansion, once a symbol of opulence and sophistication. Now, its towering structure was shrouded in an eerie silence, and its once vibrant walls whispered tales of betrayal and despair. The mansion had been transformed into a smart home, equipped with the latest technology to cater to every whim of its inhabitants. Little did they know it would become the stage for a sinister tale of murder and haunting. It was a stormy night when the Peterson family moved into the mansion. John Peterson, a successful businessman, his wife Sophia, an ambitious lawyer, and their daughter Hazel, curious teenager, were eager to start afresh in their new abode. The mansion seemed like a dream come true, with its sleek design and state-of-the-art technology. The family was oblivious to the dark history that lurked within its walls. As the days passed, strange occurrences began to unsettle the Petersons. Lights flickered inexplicably, and the temperature fluctuated without warning. Sophia brushed off these incidents as glitches in the smart home system, but Hazel couldn't shake off the feeling of being watched. She often heard whispers echoing through the halls when no one else was around. One fateful night, as the storm raged outside, the Petersons gathered in the living room. John was engrossed in his work, Sophia scrolled through her emails, and Hazel played with her phone. Suddenly, the lights dimmed, and the smart home system malfunctioned. Hazel's phone screen flickered, displaying a cryptic message: "Beware of the secrets that lie within." Startled, Hazel looked around, but her parents seemed unperturbed. Just then, a blood-curdling scream pierced the silence. Racing upstairs, the Petersons found themselves in the master bedroom. Sophia gasped in horror at the sight before them of the lifeless body of their housekeeper. Mrs. Thompson lay sprawled on the floor, her eyes wide open in terror. John quickly dialed the police, but their smart home system seemed to be working against them. Doors locked automatically, trapping them inside with a murderer on the loose. Panic surged through the family as they realized they were at the mercy of an unseen force. As they waited for help to arrive, eerie whispers filled the room, taunting them with snippets of the mansion's dark past. Legend had it that the mansion was built on the site of an ancient burial ground, cursed by the spirits of the betrayed. The whispers spoke of a love affair gone wrong, of jealousy and revenge that echoed through the ages. Trapped in the suffocating grip of fear, the Petersons searched for answers. Hazel recalled stories of a forbidden romance between the mansion's previous owners, a wealthy heiress and her dashing lover. Their affair had ended in tragedy when the heiress discovered her lover's deceit and took her own life in despair. It was said that her vengeful spirit still roamed the halls, seeking retribution for the betrayal that had shattered her heart. As the storm raged on, tensions reached a breaking point within the Peterson family. Accusations flew, and trust began to crumble. Sophia's paranoia escalated as she became convinced that one of them was responsible for Mrs. Thompson's murder. John desperately tried to maintain control, but the weight of guilt and suspicion threatened to tear their family apart. In the depths of the night, a chilling presence descended upon the mansion. Shadows danced along the walls, and ghostly apparitions materialized in every corner. The smart home system, once a beacon of comfort, now seemed to conspire with the malevolent forces that lurked within. Driven to the brink of madness, the Petersons struggled to survive the night. Each creak of the floorboards, every whisper in the darkness, intensified their terror. But amidst the chaos, a glimmer of hope emerged as they uncovered the truth behind Mrs. Thompson's murder. It was not the work of a vengeful spirit, nor was it the result of a family feud. In a shocking twist of fate, they discovered that Mrs. Thompson had stumbled upon long-buried secret evidence of embezzlement and fraud committed by none other than John himself. Fearing exposure, John had silenced Mrs. Thompson, unaware that his actions would unleash a chain of events beyond his control. With the truth laid bare, the Petersons were confronted with a choice to face the consequences of their past or succumb to the darkness that threatened to consume them. As dawn broke and the storm subsided, they emerged from the haunted smart home, forever changed by the horrors they had witnessed. The mansion stood silent once more, its walls holding secrets that would never be revealed. And as the echoes of betrayal faded into the wind, the spirits of the past watched from the shadows, their whispers a haunting reminder of the darkness that dwelled within us all.
Hi, my name is Brooke Henry. Growing up, I always dreamed of owning a modern, cutting-edge smart home. The idea of controlling everything with the touch of a button seemed like the epitome of luxury. So when I landed my dream job and finally had the means to turn that dream into reality, I didn't hesitate. I found the perfect house, a sleek, minimalist marvel equipped with the latest in smart technology. Little did I know it would become a nightmare beyond my wildest imagination. At first, the smart home was everything I had hoped for and more. Lights would turn on and off as I entered or left a room. The thermostat adjusted itself based on my preferences, and even my morning coffee was brewed before I stepped out of bed. It was like living in a sci-fi movie, and I was the star. However, as time went on, I noticed odd occurrences. Lights would flicker for no apparent reason, and sometimes the temperature would plummet unexpectedly, leaving me shivering in my own home. At first, I brushed it off as glitches in the system, but deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. Then came the whispers. Late at night, when I was alone in bed, I would hear faint voices echoing through the walls. At first, I convinced myself it was just the wind or the creaking of an old house. But as the whispers grew louder and more insistent, I couldn't ignore them any longer. As the strange occurrences escalated, so did my fear. Doors would slam shut on their own, and objects would move when I wasn't looking. I felt like I was losing my mind, and I became obsessed with finding out what was happening in my once perfect home. Desperate for answers, I turned to experts in the paranormal. They confirmed my worst fears that my smart home was haunted. The very technology I had once admired had become a conduit for something sinister, something that wanted to communicate with me from beyond the grave. Armed with this newfound knowledge, I embarked on a mission to rid my home of its unwelcome guest. I sought out mediums and spiritualists, willing to do whatever it took to reclaim my sanctuary. But as I delved deeper into the darkness, I realized that the entity haunting my home was more powerful than I could have ever imagined. The entity fought back with vengeance, wreaking havoc on my life in ways I never thought possible. It manipulated smart technology against me, turning my once helpful devices into instruments of terror. Every corner of my home felt tainted by its presence, and I began to fear for my very soul. In the end, it was not through force or technology that I freed myself from the clutches of the entity, but through acceptance and understanding. I learned to coexist with the spirit that haunted my home, finding solace in the knowledge that it was not malevolent, but simply lost and seeking connection. Though my experience in the haunted smart home was harrowing, it taught me valuable lessons about the power of technology and the unseen forces that inhabit our world. I emerged from the ordeal stronger and more resilient, determined to never let fear dictate my life again. As I bid farewell to the house that had been both my dream and my nightmare, I knew that I was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, armed with the knowledge that sometimes, even in the darkest of places, there is light.